my name is Victoria Francesca and I'm a co-creator on Crash Content. First question, what is Crash Content? That is the question that I want to know, actually. That's the question that anytime anyone asks, they're like, what is Crash Content? Like, it's awesome what you guys are doing, but what is it? And I'm always like,
Crash Content is a really fun film production group where we all take our creative minds and put them all together to create really fun short films, music videos.
We have content that leaves people on the edge of their seat, suspense. You pretty much don't know what to expect for Crash Content. And each of us brings something different to the table. And to me, that's Crash Content.
It's me and my minions. No. It's like a group of storytellers who make you want to laugh, cry, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's in the description if you want to look at that. But basically, we're a group of people that want to make quality content that's unique, that hopefully people will like.
Well, it started off with two boys, Bryce and Nikki. These two boys are BFFs. Then they were thinking, oh yeah, hey Nikki, we should form some sort of thing or team or channel or something, and we can like make stuff. And he goes, yeah, and like do things, and we should involve like other people like Vic and Lauren and Mark and Brian and Dana and all these other people. And then the Bryce was like, wow, oh my god, all of our friends in one team, that's great, yay. Anyway, yes, that's how it all began. Oh wait, no, I'm lying to you.
I mean, I guess it really began when we realized we had a really good group of people that we were working on a show that Bryce and I wrote together. And COVID hit, and it was harder to get that done.
After the show ended, Nikki and I were like, hey, let's make a YouTube channel. And before you know it, here we are, losing sleep every Sunday.
After being invited to Crash, I remember thinking Bryce was very dramatic. He was like, I'm putting together a team. It was like Justice League.
I was like, okay, what am I committing to right now? Because we were just shooting Dope, which is a series that we put off to the side, but it was like the same group of us, and Nikki and Bryce were like, hey, do you want to do this really big commitment thing? And
my reaction was, I guess I was slightly afraid because I felt like it'd be hard to make that much content for a channel consistently. But I was honestly just mostly excited because I was going to get to do what I love with people who I love.
I knew that I wanted to do it. I was just definitely nervous to make the commitment because I knew that it was going to be a lot of work. And I knew that there were a lot of things I didn't know how to do. So I think that I was scared that like I didn't know enough. I didn't know as much about filming as, everybody else. But that ended up being stupid because it's such a good environment that it never mattered, and I can always ask for help and I can always learn things, and I feel comfortable when I do that.
I knew from the first meeting that it was a group of people that I was really eager to work with, and everyone's personalities just kind of meshed really well. And it was a good feeling. Like that first Crash meeting over Zoom was just a good feeling.
It was right at the transition from everything in person to everything online and on the computer. So those were definitely very different. And I was still getting to know everyone in the group. So it was definitely quite of a transition.
So yeah, I mean, Hannah was a good time. That was the first time we all got together and filmed something for the channel.
Hannah was like 2 years old. I wrote it for some friends and it never really happened, so...
That never came to be. And then we start Crash, and that's the first video that we're going to do. So there was a lot of prep. I was DP on this, which actually, I hadn't done a lot of camera work prior to this. I had done some, like dance stuff, but I haven't done that much. And Bryce was like, I think you should do camera. I remember being like, Bryce, I don't think I'm a camera person. Like, it's not what I want to go into. I want to direct, I want to write, I want to do this, that. And he was like, Vic, I have a feeling you can do camera.
I would say it became a bit challenging when there's a scene where Hannah's like in the bathroom washing her face and everything. I don't know if you noticed, but there's some stellar lighting coming from outside the window. Yeah, so that was me on the roof, having to sit in the cold on the roof in the dark, holding a ring light still for like hours.
I remember showing up because I was in the later scenes, so I showed up around like 6, and I just remember it being very cold that day, very cold.
There was one scene where Nikki's character was walking up to the door, and he was supposed to see Ryan, Mark's character, walking to the door, and he was supposed to be like, Ryan. And Mark hadn't started walking yet, so all we see is just Nikki walking to the door being like, Ryan, and Ryan's just not there.
So Bryce and I definitely spent like 3 whole days, like just trying to figure out what we were going to do for the thumbnail and arguing about what would be more, I don't know, effective, or if we should have cohesion between them, or I think we agreed on that, but we weren't quite sure what that would be. So then it came down to just like getting in Photoshop and just throwing things in different corners of the screen, and then we thought like, oh, numbers, let's do numbers. Let's have every one of our videos have a number so that it's like, you know, we don't forget how many we've done. Well, that's not the real reason, but we just thought it would be cool.
We were making movies every Sunday. It was going good. But the world around us is getting a little more dangerous. Everything closed down. It was getting a little weird.
Yeah, so I was just really nervous, and I remember talking to Bryce about it, and that's when I think the idea of phase 0 started to come into play, but I really don't think that started to come into play as realistically until production 19.
The first half of production 19 went really well, considering that we were really good on time. Like, I felt like time was our enemy the majority of our projects, and I think production 19 was very productive.
And we were getting everything done, and we're like feeling good. We ordered food because we're like, oh, like it's gonna be a long night, and this is gonna, you know, our food's gonna get here, and then like we'll be refreshed, and like after, and we'll just like knock this out, and it's gonna be so good.
It was all going good, and then we were taking our break, and we were going into a classroom that wasn't really being used. And I ended up scrolling through my phone, through my emails, to find out that another project that I was involved in had reached out to me and a ton of other people who were involved, saying that there was a student who had been exposed to COVID-19, and they couldn't necessarily release that information, but we saw that email and we had to take every precaution after that. So I ran out of that room because I did not want to expose everyone in the group.
Okay, this is me doing behind the scenes. So actually we had to stop filming because Dana was exposed to COVID. So now we're waiting for our Chipotle to go because we pay for it. Bring that food on. Okay, bye guys.
We were like, we can't go home, like what if we were exposed, and you know, if Dana has it, then we were just directly exposed because we were close, and so like I remember people getting on the phone with their parents being mad at them.
And it's almost like karma for us, like, yep, you're doing a film on COVID, so someone's gonna get COVID. But yeah, so everyone ended up leaving. I know I ended up leaving.
I ended up finally getting in contact with the director of the film that I was a part of, and found out that the person who was exposed to COVID-19 was not a part of that specific film.
It was less stressful at the end of the day because the fact that Dana did not have COVID or wasn't exposed to COVID in the first place, I was like, thank God. So now I don't have to think about like renting a hotel and not being close to my family and all that stuff. I definitely felt relieved.
But it was just really nice to find out that I hadn't been exposed and I hadn't put everyone else in danger at all. So later once I figured all of that out, we got back to shooting.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, Bryce and Nikki had already sent like a few people home.
So now Mark left, and I'm calling him like crazy over and over and over again, right? And then I realize Mark's actually a millennial. He's not Gen Z. So that means like he's not on his phone when he's driving. The only time I'm actually upset about this. Eventually Mark answers. I don't know, it had to have been 5 times. At least it was 10, 15 minutes went by, and he says, all right, I'm coming, I'm turning around.
It definitely made quite an experience.
It did.
And quite a memory for us.
And something else happened.
So as we were leaving, Dana was like, oh, like, I think I want to, like, go to Wawa. And then Brian was like, oh, yeah, me too, like, blah, blah, blah. And then Dana was like, oh, like, we should go together. And I almost said, oh, I want to go to Wawa. And then I was like, actually, I'm getting a vibe.
So now, 6 months later, we dating.
So End Scene was our last film shot in person, and it was kind of on the fly because we had decided after production 19 that we were just going to go into phase 0, which basically was we were going into phase 1, but we were like phase 0, which is now going to be a virtual phase before phase 1, where we really take the world by storm and we really start to work together. Because when we work together, we make some amazing stuff when we work in person, and honestly the energy is just there and we all work so well together and the work gets done and it's really good and it's like it's fun. So it's basically a web series of one scene films that happen in one location, which is one scene, so it's super easy to shoot and it just throws us into the middle of a situation, whatever the situation is, and it doesn't give you a lot of context and it just tells a short story with a short message. It's digestible, it's enough to take home, and it's fun. So that was my idea for End Scene.
So I got the idea for an animated in the shower, you know, the creative hotspot. The bare bones of it was, I want to do like something with objects, personifying them in like documentary style, talking about like the tragedies of their lives. And I want to make it really, really over the top and kind of depressing, but in like almost like ironically humorous. And I think I got that. But if you are enjoying them, there will be many more to come.
I wasn't really feeling too good, and I kept being reminded, especially by Trash, that we're not quite alone, and we're all going through different things, but we meet somewhere in the middle. Like, we're connected. And I instantly was like, connection should be about a different theme that applies to different people living different lives, but they all relate to one thing. And that was where recovery came from.
SMZ. Sunday mornings on Zoom. Where did it come from?
It's funny because Vic and I were in a car. Well, just kidding. I was actually on the phone with Vic while driving. Don't be on the phone and drive, kids. It's not good for you.
So Vic and I, we just go off on tangents. Like, we'll just start talking about something funny and we'll just create an entire story. And honestly, I don't necessarily know if our humor translates to other people, like if they will get it, but like we get it, and we just go so deep into like a scenario with something, and we just keep going until we're just cracking up laughing. So we were actually talking about therapy and how we both go to therapy, and talking about therapists and like how they may feel about us or something like that, and like their emotions toward the clients, you know?
Some therapists would, you know, kind of flip the script or not really listen to you and all that stuff. And that's some. I mean, there are some good therapists out there, but how funny would it be if we just had a therapist that didn't listen to all the problems that you had, and we were laughing about it, and she was like, wait a minute, this could be something. And I'm like, you know what, you're absolutely right. She's like, kind of like, you know, like an SNL skit. And I'm like, but it's like not SNL. Like it could be like Sunday mornings instead of Saturday nights on Zoom or something. Sunday mornings on Zoom. SMZ? She goes, SMZ. And I go, wait. And she's like, wait.
We were like, do we have a pitch right now? And then we pitched it at the next meeting. So that's how SMZ came to be.
So Williams Way is a podcast, and how the name came about, I'm gonna have to clear the air on this, because the people who know me pretty well, they're gonna be like, oh, he called it Williams Way because of Soulja Boy. Now Soulja Boy is my guy, you know, because his last name is Way, but that was not the case. I didn't come up with the name at all. I was looking for a name for it, but it was Vic R who came up with Williams Way. So kudos to her for coming up with the name. And my podcast is basically just about me. You know, you get to learn the side of Mark and my likes, dislikes, and interests, you know. So Williams Way.
Andrew and Ben was, well, we talked about, this was when we were like, okay, we're going to have to do a bunch of projects where we don't all have to be together. So we need to pitch things now. And I knew that I had seen someone do like a FaceTime scene once, and I thought it was kind of cool, just because it looked so real. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. Do a FaceTime video. You don't have to be together, totally remote. That's fine. Then I was like, okay, well, what kind of story do you want to watch develop over FaceTime? And I had a scary idea, but then I was like, oh, I want to do something for the gays. Yeah, and so that's kind of where it came from.
Suburban Winter in Between was kind of a concept in my mind for a while. I wasn't quite sure what it was going to be until I really put it together, but I had this very vague idea of comparing the feeling of being in between winter and spring and how that could affect your mental health, and maybe just that state could represent something even larger about mental health altogether. Yeah, so that's Suburban Winter in Between.
Is she still in Chicago? Okay, so that actually started off as a really different story. I pitched it at a meeting, and everyone was like, oh yeah, like I really like that. And we nicknamed it Stranger Things because it kind of had a Stranger or Faker Things or something, because it had a Stranger Things vibe. And then I started writing it, and it completely changed. And I FaceTimed Mark and Jacob, who were the two guys in it, and we were like kind of running through like ideas, and eventually we like threw a bunch of ideas together, and then as I wrote it, things started coming to me and made it cohesive.
Another week on Crash Content. So Bryce and I had this, we had the slot to fill with an idea for the week. And we had a couple weeks to get ready for it, but we were thinking on what we would do. And we were going back and forth with different things, and then we stopped. And we were like, wait, there's an idea within what we're doing right now. And I think after we discussed it, it was like we decided we wanted to do kind of an over-exaggerated documentation of like our process. And that's what another week on Crash Content arguably is. And yeah, the best part about it was the fact that it was just me and Bryce, so we really didn't have to be super formal about it. We could do whatever we wanted in whatever way we wanted to do it, whenever we wanted to do it. The hard part was that we had a lot of ideas, and filming all of them, and having to dress up in different costumes and light things differently and making them each interesting in their own ways, and of course spoofing our original films was, there was a lot of thinking that had to be done for that. But then I think I know Bryce will say that editing this was
You'll regret this. I found it really admirable that we were able to film a short film in one day, because I totally thought that it would take more than one day, because, with the time that we had, I was like, there's no way we can finish this.
And yeah, and then we ended up getting it done, and there were points when we were like, oh my god, like, how are we gonna get this done, blah blah, we have so much to do. But we all, like, when you have a group of people who are all so dedicated to it, it's just nice to be on the same page and be like, no, listen, like, let's do it, let's get it done, so we don't have to worry about it, like, yeah.
And the teamwork of working in a day, like getting a film done in a day. We did not get home until like 1, 2 a.m., but we got it done.
We were walking through the shot where me and Vic run to the kitchen door and we open it, and then like Mark is like running at us with like a knife.
And everybody on set was like, oh man, Lauren keeps slamming the door in your face all the time. I didn't care because, like, it's part of the scene, But it was like the third take. I was like, okay, this time I'm going to run really fast and have my eyes like open more than ever before. So I told myself I'm going to run as fast as I can when she opens this door. So I did it. She opened the door and she couldn't even close the door. By the time I got there, she just fell. She couldn't even close the door. She screamed and hit the floor.
I was not expecting him to just really go for it. I was terrified. Like, I literally had to go lay on the ground. I was like, my heart, like, actually stopped. Thanks, Mark. Thank you for that.
I'll Be Waiting was a song that Bryce and I wrote a while ago. And it was very near and dear to our hearts. Like, we wrote it and we fell in love with it. But when we wrote it, we knew we wanted it to be a music video. We knew we had a story in mind. We knew it was going to be about a guy who got a job opportunity in what we were thinking was Boston. And he had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend choked when the moment came and couldn't come with him to go to Boston. And they found out they were miserable without each other, and they reunite at the end. And they realize, jobs don't mean everything that they think they mean. And love meant way more to them than just money and jobs.
So the reason why it was called a $10 movie was because I was inspired by a $10 bill. Let me further my story. So my grandmother passed away from COVID a year ago. She was 84. And that was the dedication at the end of the movie. I felt that when she passed, she was always giving me little hints, saying that like she was still there. And what the hints were was finding money. It's crazy, but she would always give me money, whether I asked for it or not. I mean, I didn't really ask for it. She would always just give it to me as like a gift, but that was her thing. She always gave me money, and I loved it every time, even though, she didn't really have to. And I ditched the working title, and I just used 3 words that I hear constantly from my parents, from my sister, from everyone that loves me, and it'll be okay, I feel like really represents the people that look out for you, and it makes you feel less alone. So yeah, working with Lauren and Vic and Mark and Nikki, and it was just great because they all understood what the concept was, and they all understood me, and having the support from these people, it really made it more powerful for me, and it was also my first time directing and writing and editing. I edited it and I was like, what the frick? I've never done this before, but it was a whole wild experience of new territories that I have not touched, and it will always be my greatest achievement. So, thanks, Abuelita.
Reflections. Reflections was something that started as a Bryce idea and slowly blended into a Bryce and Vic idea, which are always so fun to create. First of all, this was my first time actually acting for Crash that wasn't like, like just a very quick role here and there and stuff like that. Like this was just me on camera and literally 3 of me. So it was like Bryce was like, hey Vic, how do you feel about doing a film in under a week and playing 2 of you? Originally the idea was 2 of me, and I was like, okay. And then the idea became 3 of me, and here we are. I felt like I did my best under the short time frame to embody the energies of a past, present, and future me, and it was a lot of fun to film that. And Vic did an amazing job as DP on that. That was awesome. So yeah, it was a really fun experience, and I need to watch it again. I'm really happy with how it came out.
Vineyard Vines was written actually like the same week as Is She Still in Chicago, which is kind of funny. It started as a poem, and I sent it to like a couple of my friends, and they were like, oh, I really like this, like you should add more, and then I added more, and then it became a song, and I messaged Bryce, and I was like, hey, I wrote something, and then I showed it to him, and he really liked it, so we moved forward with it, and I don't think I knew what I was getting myself into, because that was hard, and I was having a really hard time with it, and then I felt like too vulnerable and nervous about it, and I like didn't want to do it anymore, but like I had to, like I wanted to, but I didn't. I was just like really scared. But yeah.
What does the future look like? Exciting! I am so excited for what Crash has to offer for the next phase, and it's going to be bigger and better things. We're getting better equipment. We're going to up the ante in terms of content.
We got a lot in store. We got comedy, we got action, we got horror, we got mystery, we even got superheroes, don't we? We do, and more.
It's gonna be great. I promise you that. I can promise you that. It's gonna be awesome.
There will be a big quality shift.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna go up immensely.
Yes.
But in order for us to grow our quality, yes. So, we try to make content that we think everybody will enjoy, and if you want us to keep going and keep doing it and keep growing in the quality level and what he said.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. Any penny is appreciated. We're broke. Well, wait, okay. Yeah, you could probably do like a dime, to be honest.
Yeah, dime is better.
But yeah, we're broke. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful for this family. I'm so grateful for Bryce, and I'm so grateful for Nikki and how they lead this team, and how professional they are, and how eager they are to really, keep going and make this work, and how much we all love storytelling. And yeah, I love you guys. Good night.
All right, before we leave, we got a big surprise for you guys. MC Bryce, roll it.
Hi, my name is Gerard Blandina, and I'm very excited and very happy to announce that I'll be joining the Crash Content family as a video editor. little bit about myself is that I am a senior at Rider University, and I am studying film and television. I am a movie buff, as well as, if you are wondering why there are rocks behind me, it's because I collect fluorescent minerals as a hobby in spare time. I'm very excited for the opportunity that awaits me, and I cannot wait to get started.
Hi, I'm Sophia, and I'm so excited to be joining Crash Content as one of their editors. I can't wait to start working with all of these wonderful and talented filmmakers, and I'm so excited to show you what we've got in store.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much.
Stay tuned for more.
I'll probably be taking over as head of Crash soon. Just so everyone knows, I'm definitely the most talented writer, editor, musician, actor, really anything you can think of. And they wouldn't be anything without me for sure. So let's keep looking forward to the future, which will probably just be me eventually taking over, because I know most people don't really want to see anybody else, so that'll probably have to happen. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. I'm really excited to be the best. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.